I'm Paula, I'm 54 and I am post-op now, just over 12 months.
I'm Maria and I'm 62 and I'm Paula's wife.
Well, we'd been writing to each other since 1995, but we didn't actually meet until New Year's Eve 1999, when we went to see all the Millennium celebrations. My second marriage broke down in between then, and we met properly on the 2000, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you moved in with me in June 2000, and then we got married in April 2002.
And we've just recently celebrated our 15th anniversary with a handfasting. I started my transition would have been May 2012. I'd been away for a weekend with friends in Milton Keynes and didn't take any male clothes with me, and came to a decision when I got back on 4 days later that I couldn't live a double life any longer, and decided to go and see my GP about transitioning. After the bank holiday and I'd been to see my GP, basically it was just reaching an epiphany, just realising that I couldn't live a double life anymore, and I'd read about transgender before I started dressing. So I went to see the GP, who referred me to the local mental health unit to have a psychiatric test, and then went on to my first appointment at the Gender Identity Clinic in March 2013. So not too long a wait between the initial referral and the first interview at the GIC.
Well, Paula had been dressing for quite a while before she decided to make the change, and I knew that eventually she was going to do it. So, you know, when she actually said that she wanted to transition, I didn't have a problem with it at all, because it was something that I knew that it was heading towards.
We basically supported each other as we would have done in any relationship, just by communicating.
Yeah.
Any sort of feelings that we had, any reservations, we sat down and spoke to each other.
Yeah, communication is all, I think. That is the best way to support each other.
Any doubts, just the way you're feeling, just talk to each other. And we've
or
always
if you can't talk to each other, talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because some people can't talk to each other. Yeah, if anybody needs to talk to someone, I've just started a new business called Trans Vibes, and if you look online, you can find my website online, and if you need someone to talk to, then come and talk to me. If you can't talk to people who are close to you, or you don't feel that it's easy to talk to people that are close to you, then come and talk to me.
From a teenager, I'd always thought there was something different about me, and I would guess that would be from the age of about 12, 13, and I did the usual things, experimented with makeup, eventually leading to dressing in my own clothes, just felt more confident when I was going out as female. Which came to a head basically would be about 2003, when I told Maria about my dressing. On and off continued then. We moved abroad and I stopped for 6 months, and that might have been one reason why when we came back it was even stronger, the urge to dress. And the May bank holiday was the day I made the big decision to go full time. Went into work the week after Sparkle in 2012 in July. I'd already discussed it with my boss at work and given them like a 4 or 5 week period. If anybody had any questions or reservations, that they could raise it with me or my people manager or my store manager. And when I went in on that week, everybody already knew about me, and it was pretty smooth really. Since then, I had my initial appointment to see the psychotherapist and the doctor at the Gender Identity Clinic in Nottingham. Three meetings later, I was referred to Parkside and had my surgery in February 2016. All in all, I think it's been quite a smooth transition. I've been so lucky to have friends, family, work colleagues that have all been accepting and never really questioned anything that I've done.
Paula decided that she wasn't the man I married, which was true in 2013.
Yeah,
in 2013, and we separated for 6 months, but we couldn't stay away. We spent half the time at each other's places.
Or Skyping
every day. And in the end, we decided that we wanted to be back together. But because I was claiming job seekers, we couldn't live together. So Paula got a job working in Birmingham because I'd already moved to Birmingham. And we got flats next door to each other. And now we're talking about moving back in together. Well, with 2 separate bedrooms, but in together. One property. Yeah. So I think that is the biggest obstacle that we came up against. Yeah. I mean, I can understand now why she said that we should separate, but it's not ever something that I wanted to do.
Any sort of other obstacles? I know a lot of girls speak about members of the public pointing you out and giving you verbal abuse or whatever, but I can honestly say I've not experienced anything like that. I've probably count two occasions where people have said something and just ignore them. Best way to go around is not look at the floor, because you will be noticed more then. The best way to do it is to smile, because the last thing they want is to be obvious that you've noticed them. Happiest time together. I think there's been so many.
Most recent is...
was the handfasting, to have so many friends there to help us celebrate 15 years of marriage. Everybody across the LGBT spectrum it was just an amazing day.
Definitely.
Hopefully, there'll be more memories to create, but that's probably the happiest time I've known.
Yeah.
To be fully accepted by everybody, friends, family, people we know from Manchester, work colleagues, everybody just came together. There was no atmosphere at all other than pure happiness, really. When we originally got married in 2002, it was a very low-key affair, mostly family, and really the 15-year anniversary handfasting was something so I could give Maria the day I wanted to give her 15 years before, and it exceeded my expectations. That the ceremony that a friend performed, and to make to let everybody, parts of the family, to call the quarters, the whole ceremony, the whole day will be forever memorable.
And why the pagan hand fasting is because neither of us are religious. Neither of us. I mean, when I was younger, I was a Salvationist, but that was not something that I wanted to And as I say, we're both actually pagans, so that was why it was a pagan ceremony.
It was the day we wanted.
Yeah.
For each other, I think.
Definitely.
I've always been an emotional person, to be honest. I think when they said they were going to put me on hormones, I did joke that people would be carrying me around in a bucket because the hormones are supposed to affect your emotions. But if anything, they settled me down. Just to be, I was just wanted to be happy. I just wanted my outside to match how I'd always felt inside. Not a lot of girls. Nobody's the same. Some girls don't opt for the surgery, but I just wanted to feel complete. Really, that's how I can explain it the best. It's just people said, what happens? It's just a case of whatever makes you feel 100% happy about yourself. I think life in general didn't really change that much. I was the one that wanted lots of pairs of shoes, and Maria would be the person dragging me
out of the shoe shop.
Past the shoe shop. If I ever went in, eventually it was so bad we came to a deal. If I bought a new pair of shoes, then Maria had to have a handbag. Sadly, she's now about 3 handbags ahead of me, so I've got a legitimate excuse now for buying as many shoes as I want. Nothing really changed other than that. We communicated the same, we felt the same about each other, so we'd already overcome those obstacles. Yeah, when I went shopping, it did feel natural. As I said to somebody earlier, I still haven't recently picked something up in a store and gone and used the fitting rooms. I just know it's going to fit me. And if it doesn't, then I'll take it back and get a bigger size. But I think you overcome the nervousness after a while. It's, after all, your money is as good as anybody else's. The staff these days are trained to attend to transgender people as much as shouldn't use that word, as much as everyday customers. Since I transitioned, life has improved. I don't know, it's just skyrocketed. A friend of mine who knew me as my old self once remarked to me about how I was, and her exact words were, "I knew you before and you always seemed very quiet and worried, and since you've transitioned, it's like you've had a bloody vitality injection. You're going around like a ball of energy." And everywhere I've worked has said the same thing. Whenever I've moved on, they've all said that they will miss me, and they have, but we keep in touch via all the different social media and occasionally visit. That's the main thing really, is the confidence. Boosts it to sky high levels. I mean, I'm not saying I still have the same problems that other females have, but it's nice to know that I can talk to them and get through those little obstacles.
One word, communication.
If it's like any everyday relationship, you have to communicate. As I said before, any doubts, any problems that you're having in your mind, talk to them, whether it's to your partner or to somebody that you feel you can be confident in. I would say don't feel guilty about how you feel. Talk to your partner, just communicate with somebody, get those feelings off your chest. If you bottle it up, it will just explode when you least want it. Just be honest and true to yourself. Well, my family have not had a problem. I remember the first time I told my mum that I actually dressed. Her words were, "Well, at least now I know who to come to about makeup advice." Not that I think I'm that good, but that's how it's been. Friends and family, my mum and stepdad have been fine. My kids are brilliant, especially my sons, and that's been passed on to the grandkids really, because they just accept it's not a problem with them.
Yeah, same with my girls. They don't, you know, they've not had any problems at all with accepting Paula.
Just the only advice I could give is just, as I said before, is just be true to yourself, be honest. If you feel it's selfish, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You're making yourself happy, and if you're happy, then everyone around you will be happy for you.